Welcome to the Traveling Professors. I'm Professor Bob.
And I'm Professor Sheri.
And together, we are the Traveling Professors.
Today, Sheri and I, in our last show on Carcassonne, because we've pretty much been everywhere you could possibly go and visit, we will be walking what is known as the lists, which is the area between the front wall and the back wall. In the medieval time period, the term lists usually were simply fences that knights could shelter behind during tournaments, and they referred to the fenced-off area where a tournament was also held in. Whereas at Carcassonne, the lists are the strip of land between the two defensive walls. And we'll talk about it a little bit later on as we go in. We'll be seeing it from the middle of them, and then I've taken pictures of specialized areas of the front wall, and then I have views of those areas from the main wall. So you'll get quite a view of all of these different locations. Now the lists on this map really run from here at the Chapel Tower all the way around to the corner here where the amphitheater is located. The area back behind is so steep as to almost be impossible to attack the city from this area. But there are two walls. There's a narrow one right in front, but they pretty much overlap each other. So we'll be looking at the old Roman section as it was reinforced, running back down the Narbonne Gate, and then we'll take it from the Narbonne Gate all the way around to the corner area here. Now from an attacker's point of view, it doesn't show here, but there is a trench in front of this first wall. Only really good place to gather troops for an attack is this area from here to here, because otherwise there's tremendous slopes down in this region. Double wall system was really designed to deal with attackers with two successive lines of defense. The first defense was usually earthworks and fences, and then you put concentric stones around the back of it, fortifications back behind it. It was rare to have fortified heavy stone walls in front and then an even bigger one back behind. Now it was easy to do at Carcassonne because you had the big wall with the Roman section that just needed to be upgraded, so they could put this front wall in a little easier. The other side had to be added much later, which is one of the reasons why it was built during the ages of the kings. Now the outer wall is always much lower, so you don't want to obstruct the fire of archers and crossbowmen stationed on the inner walls. And its towers are usually open to the town side, what are called open-throated towers. The lists were an open area between the two walls with little room to maneuver. So if troops got in there, it would expose them to heavy fire from the defenders of the inner wall and the outer wall, and it was easier to sortie out into the lists and cut the enemy to pieces than it was to sortie out of the castle, the enemy troops in the countryside. Now the other thing is, in the 18th century, when walls didn't mean anything for fortifications, the poorer people in the community began building houses in the lists. And here's one of the surviving pictures of what the lists looked like when they were getting ready in the 1800s to restore Carcassonne to its more medieval look. They all had to be completely removed. We're going to start our walk through the lists right here at the Chapel Tower, and then we will head on over to the Mauritius Tower. Now, if you go down the ground level where the Chapel Tower is, they have a wall that butts out and joins the inner wall with the outer wall. And if you look through that, this is the back side of the main palace castle. Backing away, you can see the Chapel Tower. You can see the front wall and the inner wall. Going around the corner, you see the Roman section. You can always tell the Roman towers. You notice that this is not very wide here from the ground standpoint. They've left the sloping ground in place here when they put the place. And what you see here is known as Red Gate Tower. And moving around the corner, you see the Red Gate Tower, and then our next tower that we're coming to is called the Glacier Tower. Now the Glacier Tower, as you can see here, has a little door in it. This is a little sally port that you could go down the steps and out a door into the kind of the dry moat area where you could do some attacking if you needed to. From the Roman fortifications looking down this stretch, here is where we've just been located, where we were at the Glacier Tower. And now we're heading to this interesting open tower, which is known as the Mauritius Tower. On the ground level, you look at this and go, wow, you get this. You could put a catapult up here and pivot it around if you needed to get a little extra firepower. And obviously it juts out. These towers jut out so you can get field of fire, left and right flanking shots at an opponent coming in as well. This is the view from the next tower over, looking at the Mauritius Tower. And you can see how it juts out. And you can see the ground trench. So the enemy would be up on the top of that. They'd have to run down and begin their attacking. So if you charged out, you would catch them in this region, although you would also catch some enemy fire as well. Here we have the Notre Barbican, which is a tower that juts out for field of fire, but it also allows troops to gather in the bottom of it in large numbers so that you can then sally out. Then when you get up on top of it, of course, you can see the expanse and how tall that is to protect your archers. And then from the top of it, you look down into the area where you can also have your bowmen firing almost point-blank range at the enemy at that level. And then they have a couple of doors on either side for you to get out. So they have a Barbican on this side, they have a Barbican in the main gate, and they've got a Barbican on the next section. So they have lots of areas where they can sally out and do some attacking. Now we're going to go down and turn the corner and head to the main gate. So from the Notre Dame Barbican, you see the Bazinet Tower. From up above, looking out one of the Roman turrets, you can see the other tower in the corner here, which is the Barbican Tower. On the ground level between the two, and we were walking towards the corner, tower you see on the end, that is the Trésor Tower, or the Treasure Tower. Then once you turn that corner, now you are into the main gate area, and the largest of the Barbicans. This is the St. Louis Barbican. So you see the one tower back there, you have a section wall, and then you start seeing the U. Now up from above, from the main fortification, you can see that curved wall, and then you see how relatively level the ground is out in front, which is why this is the most fortified section of the whole city wall structure, because this is the most likely place that they're going to come and attack you. Then you get down on ground level, and I'm standing right in front of the main gate getting into Carcassonne itself. And once again, see this horseshoe shape. Now this is bigger for a couple of reasons. One is, since this is the main gate, it's going to get lots of the attention from the enemy. But also, since the main gate is directly behind me, and it goes uphill to the main castle, the street is basically straight down to this point, you could amass your cavalry as well as your infantry in here, open the gates, and send out a torrent of forces into an enemy position and drive them off. And of course, if you're the enemy and you're on the other side, you have no idea what is going on. When they open those gates in the gatehouses, maybe some infantry will come out, but you could end up with a whole host of troops coming out through there. So this would really be one of the main battle zones. Now the lists become very, very wide, and the towers become very large. And we're going to start here at the Narbonne Gate, and we're going to go down to the Vad Tower. So here we are looking at the main gate. You see the little mini vehicle going through, bringing somebody into Carcassonne. You come through the gate, and you're just getting ready to go into the main fortress. Here's your view looking toward that section of wall. Now there's only two towers between the Barbican entrance and main gate and the Vad Tower, which is this one here, right here. And you can see how wide it is. This tower right here, this is the Pyrie Tower, with the Vad Tower behind it. And here we are at the Vad Tower looking back the other direction, looking out the wall area, because you can't go up in the tower, which is really too bad. This is the main cemetery, the old cemetery of Carcassonne across here, and you notice that the invaders have parked their vehicles down below. But you can see the depth of the ditch on this side of the fortress. You have the gate that you have to cross first before you get into the first line of defenses. This is looking out the first line of defenses, not standing up on the ramparts looking over this. But it would be a nice level area to put your troops, but you're still going to have this massive problem of getting across here. And it will get a little easier as we go along down the road. And then here's a view back as we're heading the other direction from the Vad Tower. Now the next section is going to go from the Vad Tower down to the Prémod Barbican. Yes, we have to have a Barbican on this side as well. So you'll notice the wall coming down from the Vad Tower, and then it finishes at the Poletto Tower, where you have it so that you can actually put another catapult on top of it. So you have steps going up and down, and then in the center of it is a series of places where you have arrow loops. And then if you go up on top, this is the view you have. So you can see it looks all the way down to the other side, and you notice the height the walls are here, and that the land does also drop off. Then we go back looking at the other direction, And then here we have the tower, the Saint-Nazaire Tower and Gate. And then if you go up to the top of that, back the other direction, and you see the Cremond Barbican. But look at the distance between towers. This is a much longer area than the other side that we were looking at. From the ramparts above, we can look down and see the Orliac Tower, and then look to the corner where you see the Grand Burlas Tower. And then if you go around the corner from the top of the ramparts, you see that from that tower, look how narrow the lists get. So it's really wide to a certain point, and then it narrows again because they have this tremendous drop-off. So that is the complete circuit of the lists at Carcassonne. And Sheri and I certainly hope you've enjoyed that.
Sheri and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please come by our YouTube channel at Bob Packet, and please subscribe and leave some comments. Thank you very much. I've been doing podcasting on history for over 15 years. I've got over 4,000 shows, and I've done CDs, which of course can be sent out as USBs. So if you would really like to get more on history for free, then come by my website, as you see here, historyaccordingtobob.com, and see what's there. So thank you very much again.